Hello. During this video I would like to provide you with an introduction to project management. More specifically, an introduction to the process groups and to knowledge areas as outlined by the Project Management Institute's PMBOK guide. So to begin, I'd like to start with defining a project. A project is a temporary endeavour undertaken to create a unique product, service or result. And it possesses a definitive beginning and end. What this means is that a project is unique in that it is not a routine operation but a specific set of operations designed to accomplish a singular goal. Thinking of this unique nature, a project team often includes people who do not usually work together. Sometimes they could be from different organizations, departments, or perhaps span across multiple geographies. A project can create a product that can either be a component, enhancement, or end result. It could be a service or capability. It could also be an improvement to an existing process, service, or product. It could also be simply the end result, such as an outcome or document. Now that you know the definition of a project management can be defined as the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet the project requirements. To meet these requirements in an organized and controlled fashion, similar to a typical product lifecycle that contains 5 stages, a project also possesses its own particular 4-stage cycle structure consisting of all the work required to bring a product to market or make a service or process operational from initial start to close. As a project manager, you'll be involved in different activities as the project moves through each of the 4 lifecycle stages. They serve to provide a basic framework for managing the project regardless of the specific work involved. As part of starting a project, you would determine the need for the project, analysing its feasibility, setting its initial goals, and assigning team members. As part of organising and preparing a project, you would conduct research, prepare and implement a schedule, identify targets, and distribute executable tasks and resources to your assigned team members. As part of carrying out the work, you and your team would execute on all the assigned tasks to achieve the project's goals and objectives. As part of closing the project, you would transfer the end product, service or result to the end user, complete contractual commitments, reassign team members, etc. These stages also possess specific characteristics relating to cost and staffing, uncertainty, and cost of changes. Typically, at the start of a project, cost and staffing would be low. And as you progress through the life cycle, these costs and staffing would increase to reach their peak during the carrying out of the work stage and then decrease as it hits close. Likewise, for uncertainty would be high at the start of a project. And then as the project goes through its natural progression and planning takes place and controlling and monitoring activities, this uncertainty would begin to decrease and be at its lowest at the end of a project. The cost of change. This would be very low at the start of a project, mainly because it's still in the planning and organising phases. As the project then progresses and you begin to carry out the work, once work and schedules have been committed to, the cost of changes does increase and is very high at the end of the project. A process is a set of interrelated actions and activities performed to achieve a pre-specified product, result, or service. And in relation to project management, there are 5 main process groups: initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, and controlling, and closing. The initiating process group contains processes that help to kick off the phase or project. The processes in the planning group are aimed at creating the plans and objectives for a project. The executing process group consists of the processes that are required to carry out the work of the project or phase. The monitoring and controlling group includes processes for tracking, assessing, and managing the process of the project. The processes in the closing group wrap up or finish a project or phase. Project management processes tend to be iterative in nature. This means that they are repeated throughout the project or phase as more information is gathered and plans have been altered. An alternative method of grouping processes is according to which area of project management they relate to. These groups are known as knowledge areas, of which there are 10 of them. Project integration management, project scope management, project time management, project cost management, project quality management, project human resource management, project communications management, project risk management, project procurement management, and project stakeholder management. The PMBOK guide outlines all the inputs, tools and techniques and outputs of each of these different knowledge areas. For instance, project integration management involves coordinating all the elements of a project so that they work together to achieve objectives. This means identifying and defining what work must be done and managing and coordinating this work. The purpose of project scope management is to identify and define all work that's needed to meet the goals. It also involves managing the project scope as it progresses. Project time management is necessary to ensure that a project is completed on time. It includes processes for creating and monitoring project schedules. Costs and budgets form an important part of any project. Project cost management involves ensuring that the project meets its objectives without going over budget. It includes processes for calculating budgets, conducting estimates, and controlling costs. Project quality management involves ensuring that a project meets the standards and requirements that are set out for it. It includes processes for measuring project performance, comparing results to required standards, and identifying where improvement is needed. Human resource management is concerned with the processes for putting together and managing a project team. This includes keeping track of roles and responsibilities and managing changes in team members. A project relies on an exchange of accurate information to work properly. Project communication management is responsible for this. It involves ensuring that information is properly generated, collected, distributed, stored, and retrieved. Project risk management involves ensuring that risks to the success of the project are identified and analysed, and that appropriate responses are developed. Project procurement management is concerned with obtaining goods and services for the project from various suppliers. Project stakeholder management involves ensuring that the relevant stakeholders are identified and engaged in all project decisions and activities. Even though process groups differ from knowledge areas, the processes they organise are the same. They are just grouped using different criteria, and at certain points the process groups and knowledge areas overlap.